some of the younger viewers and listeners won't remember 1999 or 2003 or 2004 when the Yankees and the Red Sox matched up in some of the greatest playoff series I've ever seen, maybe that have ever taken place. Classic ALCSs. Yankees took the 99 series in 5 games. Only loss they had was to Pedro Martinez. Roger Clemens got shelled in that game. And then in 2003, they won in 7 games. Their current manager, Aaron Boone, walked off one of the greatest games of all time, that Game 7. Mariano Rivera, one of the highlights of his career, 3 shutout innings. I don't really remember what happened in 2004, drawing a blank. But man, they were wild. And the one-game playoff between these two teams in this crazy year, it may very well be another game for the ages. Yankees and the Red Sox both come in at 92 and 70. The game will be played in Boston because the Red Sox have won more games head-to-head this season. But that really doesn't concern me all that much because of what happened last month. Now, maybe it's just recency biased, but the Yankees looked much better than the Red Sox when they swept the 3 games in late September. But anything can happen in a one-game series. Yankees were swinging the bats well. They're not swinging it quite as well. Red Sox, though, came in red hot. They were on a 7-game win streak. They were wearing those very loud City Connect uniforms. Game 1 was Garrett Cole versus Nathan Eovaldi, which is going to be a preview of the wild card game. The Yankees won that game 8-3. They actually jumped all over Nathan Eovaldi, who usually gives the Yankees fits. But they got 3 runs off of him in the first inning and 4 runs in the third inning. Giancarlo Stanton smoked an opposite field 3-run home run, and Gleyber Torres had 3 hits and a home run that night as well. Garrett Cole was really, really sharp for 5 innings before running out of gas in the 6th. Remember, he was coming back from a hamstring injury, and that hamstring injury seems to have lingered. He has struggled his last couple of outings. He did allow a 3-run home run to Rafael Devers, but otherwise he was solid. It was his 16th and final win of the season. The next night was possibly the game of the year. The Red Sox jumped out to a 2-0 lead through the first 5 innings off of Nestor Cortes, who was solid and should be available out of the bullpen for the wild card game should they need him. And if they don't need him, you'd expect that if the Yankees win, he will start either Game 1 or Game 2 of the division series in Tampa. In the top of the 8th of that game, Giancarlo Stanton had the highlight of the season, possibly the highlight of his entire career so far, a monster grand slam that I watched on repeat about 900 times the next day. You know what? Let's watch it again, just for the hell of it.
The pitch to Stanton, swung on, and drilled deep to left field. There it goes! See ya! He put it into orbit!
You know what? I got nothing to do. Let's run that shit back one more time.
The pitch to Stanton, swung on, and drilled deep to left field. There it goes! See ya! He put it into orbit!
In the final game of the series, the Red Sox jumped out 1-0 and then 3-2 before the Yankees had another huge 8th inning, once again capped off by another long home run from Giancarlo Stanton, one of the loudest ones off the bat all season.
Stanton is homered again! Sanctimonious!
Few things to keep in mind for this winner-take-all game. Let's start with the Red Sox storylines. Rafael Devers is red hot. He homered twice in the final game of the season, and he also homered off of Garrett Cole the last time he faced him. He's an X factor for me. He brings a ton of energy. He's got a great swing. He's young. Chris Sale will be available out of the bullpen, and the Yankees have not seen him since prior to his Tommy John surgery, so he could be a major X factor for this game coming out of the bullpen. The crowd is going to be hostile. They are going to be all over the Yankees, and the Yankees are going to have to score early to take the crowd out of the game. That's one of those things about the Giancarlo Stanton home runs is they really silenced the crowd. Could use one of those in the first inning this time. Some storylines for the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge have had 2 really great months to finish out the season, and as they go, so go the Yankees. If either one of them has a big night, I trust Garrett Cole to keep the Red Sox offense in check, especially if he's feeling healthy. Also, who plays shortstop? Gio Urshela took a nasty spill in the season finale in the dugout, and DJ LeMahieu is on the IL. Will we see Tyler Wade or, more likely, Andrew Velasquez get a start in such a huge game at shortstop? And how will they respond to the pressure, the crowd? That'll be interesting. And will the pressure be off or at its peak? The Yankees seem to be playing tight versus the Rays on Friday and Saturday, but they played really crisp, tight baseball on Sunday to close out the season. Which Yankees team is going to show up? Is it going to be the one that's loose and won 13 games in a row and went 35-11 at one point and looked unstoppable? Or is it going to be the one that got stomped 12-2 in their home ballpark on Saturday? I guess we'll find out. Should be fun. Hopefully the Yankees bring the bats, bring the defense, and come ready to win. As we saw in 2017, winning the wild card game can be a great momentum changer and can really get you going in the right direction and set you off on a playoff run. All right, so the lineup for the game has not been announced yet, but with DJ LeMahieu being out, Gio Urshela being a little banged up, this is how I would do it. Gleyber Torres leading off. He's actually had some really good at-bats out of the leadoff spot, been hitting for a little bit more power lately. I would play Aaron Judge in center field. He hasn't played center field much this season, but I would love to see him out there in the wild card game. Anthony Rizzo is your first baseman. Obviously, Luke Voit is unavailable. He's on the injured list. Giancarlo Stanton would play left field for me. And I know that left field can be tricky at Fenway, but he's played it before. He's shown that he's capable. Joey Gallo for me would play right field. And I know that Gallo hasn't played much right field as a Yankee, but he's played a ton of right field overall in his career. And I think that there's more room out there in right field to cover, so I want the faster outfielder. My DH would be Gary Sanchez, because in Fenway, with that big left field wall, he's just one medium fly ball from an extra base hit or a home run. I would slide Gio Urshela back over to third base. Being a little banged up, I don't want him playing shortstop. Let's leave him at third for the time being. Behind the dish, I would have Kyle Higashioka. He catches Garrett Cole. He's the better defensive option. Put him behind the dish. And Andrew Velasquez would be my shortstop. He is a switch hitter. The Yankees did a lot of winning with him at shortstop. I'm supremely confident with his shortstop abilities. And as a Bronx kid with the chance to beat Boston, you got to think he's going to step up. Now, my bench would look like this. I would carry an extra catcher. It's not uncommon to carry a third catcher in a wild card game. Brantley would be my catcher. Tyler Wade would be on my roster as a late inning weapon, as we saw in the final game of the season. And then, of course, Brett Gardner is your fourth outfielder for the night. And Rougned Odor, should you need him, could provide a little bit of late inning pop. He can play second. He can play third base. Now, most of the time, you would consider Garrett Cole about as close to a sure thing as there is in life. But he was 16-8 with a 3.23 ERA this season. Those are very fine numbers. He made 30 starts, pitched 181 in the third innings, 243 strikeouts, and a great whip, or walks and hits per innings pitched, of 1.059. However, worth noting that his last few outings have not been good. On September 26th, he went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, left with a hamstring problem. He came back on September 14th. He pitched against Baltimore. He threw 108 pitches in that game. He went 5 innings, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Not bad, but Baltimore. And then against Cleveland, he got absolutely shelled on September 19th. 5 innings, 10 hits, 7 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed. And then on September 24th versus Boston, 6 innings, 3 runs. Of course, he had 5 shutout innings before allowing a 3-run home run. I think the Yankees would take 5 shutout innings on Tuesday night. In his final appearance of the season against Toronto, he once again got hit hard. 6 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs. No walks, so the command was there. Just 6 strikeouts. He did serve up 2 home runs. The Yankees are going to need Garrett Cole to be at his best. You would imagine that over the past week or so, he has had every kind of hamstring treatment that you can have. He's had every kind of massage from the world's best masseuses. He's had every kind of whirlpool that you can have, any kind of access to any painkiller that you need, that hamstring is going to be feeling pretty much okay when the game begins. But any athlete can tell you that once the game begins, it's a whole different story. When you push yourself in a game, it's much different than pushing yourself on the side. It's much different than going through your stretching routines and all of that stuff. The adrenaline, the explosive movements. He's going to be throwing 101-mile-an-hour fastballs. He's going to be pushing off the rubber as hard as he can and landing on the other leg. Will he have to compensate? Will forcing himself to pitch through pain in his legs affect his arm? It's something that we need to be concerned about, especially given his recent performance. But I might just be being a little bit of an alarmist here. I think Gerrit Cole's going to come out and throw probably 7 innings of 2-run ball and give the Yankees a chance to score some runs and win the game. I just think he's that type of guy. He's going to put everything else aside. He's going to ignore any kind of discomfort and show us why the Yankees gave him over $300 million. Now, as great as Gerrit Cole has been this season, he's still not my team MVP. That goes to Aaron Judge. He had an outstanding year, his best year since 2017. He hit .287, 39 home runs, 98 RBIs. He scored 89 runs. He had a .373 on-base percentage, 149 OPS plus, 916 OPS. His strikeouts were actually way down from his rookie year. I remember when he first came up, everyone was concerned with how much he struck out. He only struck out 158 times this year. Now, I know we say only, but he struck out 208 times in 2017, his rookie season, in which he should have won the MVP. He walked 75 times, so he's still got a very good eye. 299 total bases. And Aaron Judge plays well when the spotlight is on him. In his first ever playoff game, the wild card against Minnesota, he hit a home run. He hit 3 home runs against Houston in the 2017 ALCS after a bad ALDS. In 2018, the wild card game versus Oakland, he hit a big 2-run home run. And then in the ALCS against Boston, he hit .375 with 2 home runs in that series. In 2019, he was not great in the playoffs, but he was playing with a punctured lung. He went 3 for 9 against Minnesota and then went 6 for 25 against Houston. But in 2020, he hit a home run off of Shane Bieber in the first wild card game. Then he hit 2 home runs off of Tampa Bay. He's got 11 home runs in 34 playoff games in his career. He is hitting .313 with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs in 16 career wild card at-bats. That's over 4 games. So Aaron Judge is my pick to click on Tuesday night. I just think he's going to show up. He played really well in that Field of Dreams game. He seems to do really well on ESPN Sunday night games, on Fox televised games. When all eyes are on him, he steps up and does a great job. I think Aaron Judge is going to have a big night. And the Red Sox are going to have to pitch to him because you got Giancarlo Stanton behind him, giving him all sorts of protection. They saw what he did against them firsthand. You have got to pitch to Aaron Judge, and I think he's going to hurt them on Tuesday night. But maybe not. What the hell do I know? I'm just a podcaster. All right, I've got 2 X factors that I want to talk about, and then we'll get into the coverage for Tuesday night. So Andrew Velazquez is going to be my first X factor. If he's in the lineup, I think he's going to have a good game. He is from the Bronx. He was raised on hating the Red Sox. And when the Red Sox have their team meeting, they're basically going to be talking about ways to prevent Giancarlo Stanton from crushing them again, ways to contain Aaron Judge, ways to contain Joey Gallo. And at this point, we don't even know if Andrew Velazquez is going to be in the lineup. So I don't think they're going to pay a lot of attention to him. But I think he's a guy that's going to be as amped up as anybody on the field playing in his first playoff game. Now, some people fold under a situation like that, but I don't see that with Andrew Velazquez. I think Velazquez is going to come out ready to do some damage. I could see him picking up a big hit or making a great play in the field or swiping a bag, just playing with a ton of energy. And when the offense is tight, sometimes guys with a ton of speed, ton of energy can really be a game changer. We saw yesterday that when Tyler Wade went in the game and added a little bit of speed, he took second base on a fly ball to center field by Gleyber Torres, put a runner in scoring position. That's not something that would typically happen with Gio Urshela on base. He doesn't run very well. So having a couple of guys in there mixed in that can run is a big deal, and I think Andrew Velazquez is going to be a factor in this game. Anthony Rizzo is another guy, and I can't explain it. I just saw him when he first came to the Yankees, and everybody was watching him, and the attention was on him, and he hit a bunch of home runs right out of the gate. I just think that he's got this ability to put pressure to the side. He's already won a World Series in his career, so I don't think the wild card is going to faze him. You know, this guy played in Game 7 of the World Series, so I think Anthony Rizzo is a big X factor as well. And as for my coverage, I've got a lot of people begging for a watch party, and I've got a lot of people just saying, hey, look, we love the recaps, so I'm going to try and give you guys the best of both worlds. I'm going to do a watch party for the first 5 innings, and then I'm going to turn off the watch party and start building my recap as I watch the rest of the game, and then we'll have a post-game recap. So tune in Tuesday night, 8 p.m., Yankees versus Red Sox, wild card. Winner goes to Tampa Bay, loser goes golfing.